3. Hi and welcome to Simply Raw Interviews. I'm Moddie Lambert from simplyrawfeeding.co.uk and a committee member of the Raw Feeding Vet Society. And I'd like to welcome Esther Logue, who is the Content and Communications Manager from Paleo Ridge, who's very kindly support us as a Raw Feeding Vet Society. And thank you guys, we couldn't do it without you. So tonight we are going to have a chat about what makes Paleo Ridge different, and have a little chat about the microbiome and see how we go from there. So Esther, welcome.
Thank you.
What makes Paleo different?
So Paleo Ridge, as you know, we fully support raw feeding. We have been in the industry for quite some years now, and we've spent a lot of our time developing product ranges to suit dogs' needs. Especially dogs who are presenting health conditions as well. It's really important for us to ensure that we're providing the highest quality ingredients and that dogs are reaching optimum health through diet. So what makes us different is we're a team full of really passionate people. Everybody in the office absolutely loves dogs. And one of the things that we want the most is for dogs to live long, happy and healthy lives. So one of the things that we do is we source only the highest quality ingredients. So our ingredients are all human grade. We do have other ingredients which we source which are organic as well. And yeah, we just keep developing our knowledge as well to ensure that dogs are getting all the vitamins and minerals that they need through our products.
Brilliant. Well, I know you're pretty much a family-run business as well, which is nice.
Yeah.
Why is a natural species appropriate, in your opinion, diet so important?
So this is something that comes up more frequently now, I think, where people are starting to take a lot more care and notice of health and nutrition. I mean, species appropriate, you know, this allows dogs to thrive. Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, it allows dogs to thrive basically by feeding them something that they were evolved, you know, to eat. I mean, they're carnivores, and carnivores are built to digest meat and bone and offal. And when they do, they absolutely thrive on it. So there are so many reasons why feeding raw meat, bone and offal is best for your dog. And one of those being is that it supports the immune system. And the dog's immune system is supported ultimately by the microbiome, which the microbiome is mostly found in the digestive system, but it is found in, you know, colonies all over the dog's body, inside and out. And the term "you are what you eat" comes into effect here as well.
Absolutely.
So whatever you're putting into your body, same with humans as well. You know, your gut acts as a second brain. So whatever you're eating sends signals to your brain, and if you're putting in there, you know, refined sugars and really starchy products and things that are going to make you feel not that great, then you're going to be presented with a whole load of issues. And it's the same with dogs as well.
Absolutely, totally agree. We're learning so much about the gut-brain health connection, and certainly I find that a lot of people who feed their dogs the correct diet often go and start feeding themselves better too, because it is, you say, you are what you eat. Tell us a bit about how you source organic foods, because as we know, it's really hard. I mean, the whole world, I guess, couldn't eat organic foods, but if you have a dog that's presenting with problems, clearly if you feed that dog meat that has lived in barns, been fed antibiotics, lived in pretty unnatural environment, feeding that meat to a dog is going to cause problems. Certainly I find that in my job as well. And that also to me goes along for veg. If the vegetables are being sprayed with all sorts of nasty chemicals, then that's going to go into your system. And I know that Paleo started obviously without a vegetable range. So yeah, tell us a wee bit about how do you source the organic foods, because many companies really, I don't think, do particularly well on some of the organic veg.
Yeah, so I mean, organic food is, like I said, it is quite hard to source. I mean, not all of our food is organic, but one of the things that is organic throughout all of our products is our chicken. So we were able to find an amazing organic farm for chickens, and I mean, as you know as well, that chickens need to be in sunlight to absorb vitamin D, and dogs can't produce vitamin D themselves, so they, you know, they need that inputted in their diet. And chickens that have been outside are rich in that, so that's why it's really important to have organic free range chickens. And I think it's quite difficult because I think there's a lot of loopholes in the food industry where people can label things as organic or free range, but technically they aren't, which is, you know,
Marketing's clever, isn't it?
yeah, it really is. You know, there's so many examples that we could give of human food that do that, but we've actually managed to locate a great source for organic chicken. And with the superfood mix we have in our Paleo Plus range as well, we have organic hemp seed powder, which is a great addition as well, and the other ingredients in there are all wild as well. So
It makes such a difference for
yeah,
and actually your comment about vitamin D, it's something I quote every day.
yeah,
Not many people, chicken's such an overfed protein and so many dogs can have so many issues with it, but if it's organic and it's been outside, I think the vitamin D thing is just fascinating. You can feed a chicken diet all of its life and your dog will be totally deficient in it. So well done you guys, because yeah, having some organic range, I mean it must be very difficult to source a large amount.
yeah.
Well done for you guys for doing that. Okay, so how does Paleo Ridge feel about the ethics of the meat industry and the impact that it has on the environment? Because that's another pretty big. I know you do your amazing compostable packaging, you do your fantastic wool cool, which works brilliantly even in the heat of the summer.
It is amazing, that stuff. We do love that. And yeah, I mean, impact on the environment is something, being in the meat industry is something that we're very cautious of, because we understand, you know, the mass production of anything is damaging to the environment. Even, you know, I know that soy, for instance, with the whole vegetarian veganism movement in humans has become huge. And now that's being mass produced and that comes with its own problems as well. But the meat industry especially, I mean, raw dog food is manufactured using meat considered less desirable for human consumption, such as, you know, tripe, bone and offal. A lot of abattoirs and companies will just throw that away, which is really sad because it's incredibly nutritious for dogs. So the meat that we source is, we will take all of that to use in our products. It's human grade, it's high quality, and that way there is none of the animal going to waste. So in that sense, that kind of cuts down the emissions because we're not going specifically to a place where you only get tripe or you only get the bones. That whole animal is being used, which is great.
I think that's really important. I mean, I love the whole nose to tail thing. Go back many years ago, many thousands of years ago, when dogs became our friends and we chucked the bits we didn't want. Everything should be eaten from nose to tail. And as we know, if you fed whole prey, they would eat everything from nose to tail. And I think that's a great way of, as you quite rightly say, having a great impact on the environment, but eating the things, we've become a bit precious. We only want to eat chicken breast. A lot of people who will eat the whole thing, but liver and kidney and offal is very out of fashion at the moment. But it's so important for us as humans too. So I think that's fantastic that you can get those byproducts. I think again, things like lung and spleen and I could do eyeballs and everything else.
Yeah.
Is that quite hard to source? Because I know that you put spleen into bits and a tiny bit of pancreas, but that is again a product that the dog should have as complete and balanced over time, isn't it?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, spleen especially is incredibly nutritious, and we are able to source high quality spleen, which is good, that we use in some of our products. Pancreas tends to be a little bit more difficult to source. I mean, it's very controversial, I feel, pancreas, because you've got people who are for and people who are against it, but it's that organ therapy thing. You know, if dogs have an issue with their pancreas, for instance, a lot of people would say to feed pancreas for that.
Me included. It's one of my most
Yeah.
passionate subjects, and it's never failed.
Yeah, and it's brilliant. But then you see all these articles or stories that appear online, and people are really, being quite negative about it, and it's scaring people, which is a real shame.
Well, I think that's the thing with raw feeding, and it's growing so much, which is fantastic. But there's a lot of social media stuff, which is, it's a bit like trying to diagnose yourself with a problem by Googling it, isn't it?
It is.
But I think, I don't know. I think actually one of your colleagues invited me to come and look at your factory. I mean, I'd love to do that, because if you can go around a dog food factory, then I think that probably means it's all pretty amazing. So I think lots of new things in the pipeline.
Yes, so we are still in the process of moving. We still haven't moved to our new premises yet, which we were supposed to do earlier this year, but there seems to be lots of things in the way at the moment, but we're hoping to move very soon. And basically what that's going to do for us is, where we're at capacity at the moment where we are, as soon as we have more space, that means we can have more machinery, more room to do other things like, new product development, and which is one of the things that we're most excited about. So watch this space. It will be happening. We just don't know when.
Well, that's so exciting that everything's growing, because we just want happy, healthy dogs that should live maybe to 20, not that the cancer rate now is just so high. And I believe that's down to the diet we eat. I think it's incredibly sad.
It is really sad. I mean, there's scientists have been doing huge studies saying that the gut is the second brain, and there's some really interesting studies online if anybody watching gets the chance to do some research on it. And everything you put into your stomach will affect everything else in your body. And with dogs as well, eating biscuits on a daily basis with no real natural nutrients or anything in it ultimately is going to cause a whole lot of issues.
It's really difficult, isn't it? I think we're learning. Actually, there's a great book called The Psychobiotic Revolution, which is all about the gut brain health. That's a fantastic one. Just another one to read. And okay, last question for you. So Esther, what would you say Paleo Ridge is most passionate about as a company, obviously relating to dogs, and some cats eat your diet as well, because I've put several cats onto it and it's actually great. You need a cat indeed. You do.
Most passionate about healthy dogs. I mean, that's ultimately what we want from our company, is for dogs to be fed the most nutritious diet, no additives, no fillers, so they can go to the vets less, have less health conditions, and just live a long, happy life, because dogs are amazing. They're loyal, they're loving, they're too pure for this earth, to be honest. So we want to do whatever we can to make sure that they live happy, healthy lives, because there is nothing more heartbreaking than having to constantly visit a vet with a condition which
is so solvable.
Exactly. And it's the same for us humans as well. I know for those people who are scared of feeding their dogs a raw diet, if people can have a plant-based diet and go vegan and eat just natural, healthy foods, then so can our dogs. And if we were to cut out all of the processed foods from our diet, then you could just watch those health conditions globally just fine.
Yeah, absolutely. And as we talk about here quite a lot, a dog is evolved to eat meat, and that meat, whether it's a cow or a sheep, eats grass. We can't eat grass, but we can eat them. And I think it sort of goes round in a big circle there, doesn't it? I think it's just sad. But that's brilliant. Well, I mean, hopefully we can have another chat at some point, but if anyone's got any questions, we know this should have gone out on live, and sadly Paul Laura from RFES had a crash on her computer in Wales and we were actually here, so I'm really sorry about that. But anyone who wants to ask any questions, please pop it in and we will do our very best to answer. So thank you very much, Esther, for your time, and love what you're doing.
Thank you for having me on here. It's been lovely to speak to you, and hopefully we can do another one soon. That'd be great.
Absolutely, it's a pleasure. We'll see you soon.